Hello and welcome along to the Bunch of Punts Betting Podcast, your specialist show for football long shot bets. Joining me, as ever, Matthew O'Regan. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's good to be doing it in person rather than online for once. So, yeah.
We're not on a split screen. It looks because of the cut off at the room behind us like we're on a split screen. We're not. We're both in London. Whereabouts are we?
In Camden. Won't give the exact location, so we won't get robbed. But yeah, we're near Camden High Street at my mate's gaff, so easier to record here than online for the last ever recording.
Not last ever.
Not last ever.
Last of the season. Yeah, I've been down here for work. Why are you here? Why are you in London?
My mates live here, visiting them. We've got Tottenham away on Sundays for a long weekend, bank holiday, spend it in London. So yeah, we thought rather than rush it out to get it out online, I would do it in person because you're staying about 15 minutes from here, so just made sense to do it in person.
Yeah, and you go in Tottenham bus store tonight?
I might do. If I got time, I'll go Tottenham Parade because a lot of my mates are Spurs fans. I've never seen our team win a trophy, so I might as well leech onto other success and go to the Tottenham Parade.
Yeah, and I am down here. Well, I'm staying down here tonight because Sheffield United play Sunderland tomorrow. I am shitting it, but that's what we're going to be previewing on the final podcast of the season. Not the final podcast ever, but the final podcast of the season. We've got Championship, League 1, League 2 playoffs. And we've both got a bet we love in the Prem. So we're gonna do Prem final day as well, but we'll kick off with Sheffield United Sunderland tomorrow. What have you got for us? How do you think it's gonna go?
Yeah, so I reckon give a score prediction for each game and then we'll go into it. So Sheffield United Sunderland, I've got 1-0 Sheffield United full time. I think it's going to be cagey. I think all games are going to be cagey, but I just think Sheffield United finished 14 points ago. I think it was above Sunderland. I think Sunderland, I said this on the last pod, pound for pound, I think I'd take Sunderland starting lineup over Sheffield United, but I think Sheffield United are better squad and got the experience to get it through. So I think Sheffield United are going to win. And for this game, I wanted a few cards. I think it's Kavanagh in charge, I think you said earlier.
Yeah, boy.
I couldn't find any good card prices other than a couple, but I left it. So the only bet for this I've got is Dan Neil to make 2,000, Peck to have 2 shots at 6.5. Obviously, I'm not going to traitor against the long shots as I did last week with the Ugarte shots, but 1 shot and 1 foul is about 1.9, 1.8. So, but for the purpose of a long shot, I'm just going 6.5. Neil has seen an upturn in his foul stats recently. With Super Sub, he's seen at least 2 fouls in 6 of his last 10. Academy graduate, captain, 23, leading an inexperienced side. He's going to be up for it, so I think that will see an upturn as well. But 6 of his last 10, he's seen 2 fouls. And Pet, we spoke about quite a few times before in the pod. He's seen an upturn. I think with Vinny sitting deep, Hamer and Peck get a chance to attack, and he's had a shot in his last 10, and with Super Sub had a 2+ shots in 8 of his last 10. So for 2 people with an upturn of stats, I don't think the bookie's quite clocked on. 6.5 for Peck 2 shots and Neil 2 fouls is very good at 6.5.
Very nice, and it leads me on very nicely to a selection that I want to talk about. First off, score prediction. I think it's going to be 2-1 Sheffield United. I want it to be 2-1 Sheffield United. I think Enzo Lafay scores first for Sunderland, and then that just brings Sheffield United out of the shell, because I think they're going to be reactive, not proactive. And then I think Tyrese Campbell equalises, and then Sidney Peck gets the winner. He hadn't scored all season. And shout out to Tom Carnduff at Sporting Life, because I didn't think of this bet. He found it. And as you just said, you're on Peck shots. He's a shot machine. He hasn't scored all season, but he gets in so many good positions and has so many shots. I think he's been quite unlucky not to score. It's not like they're all pot shots from range. He gets in good positions, like I say. And going back to the trip to Ashton Gate, in the second half, he had several chances. And I think both of them took deflections and that, and then on final day against Blackburn he had a really good chance, really good shot from range. That took a deflection, and instead of it going in his favour, it went against him. It took it close to the keeper, then further away. But he's good. His shooting's good. He gets in good positions. Tom Gardner's tipped him 11-1 Sky Bet to score. I think that's a great bet. And he's also tipped him at 225-1 with Bet Paddy Power to score a brace. It'd be stupid not to do that. Well, it would be stupid to do that, but it would be stupid not to do that. And if the game state suits, which I think it will if my prediction's correct, if the teams are level heading into the last 15 minutes, he's a definite candidate for a gold card. He's a very passionate player, good all-rounder, and if he does score the goal that would take Sheffield United to Wembley, he's definitely taking his top off. So gold card in play. Obviously I'm not tracking that, but just keep your eye out in any of these games. If they're level, the game state suits, just have a few arrows at gold cards, because how many times has it happened? Let me just check.
You'll be on with your Nokia in the stand trying to get on with his.
This one, it's a Samsung one.
Trying to get on in play. So I think I'm going to have to be doing that for you in play. But yeah, it's definitely it's one I didn't look too far into it, but I was looking when I was doing my Paddy column last year in the finals. 2 goalkeepers got booked of the 3 EFL finals. So I think there's a lot of narrative to be had in terms of goal cards, goalkeeper cards. I think if you're looking for punts outside of the podcast, look for who you think's going to score and take the top of what goal is going to be. Basically just pick a team you're going to think is going to win and pick like a passionate player to take his top of, basically. Yeah,
that is 100% it. I looked at the last 57 EFL Play-off finals, because on who scored, it stopped pulling through like specific card, goal scorer data after that, so it only let me do 19, but 8 players have scored and then subsequently took their top off, like being booked directly after scoring. 8 in 57 games. And if you're looking around the 70 or 75th minute mark, you're getting at least 50 to 1. If the game states suit, not all of these games are going to suit, but you're going to get massive odds. Off the top of my head, if they haven't been booked already, I'd say Sidney Peck, Gustavo Hamer, absolute cert. Maybe. Not an absolute cert, but them two I'd be looking at for Sheffield United.
The best one, I think, he's never going to score, Jack Robinson.
Jack Robinson, 100% would. I'd probably say Joe Bellingham.
Allard.
Yeah. He's already done it, hasn't he, last game?
Isidore would.
Isidore would. There's loads for Sunderland, to be fair. Chris Rigg probably would, local lad, isn't he?
Dan Neil.
Yeah, they've got a few, but it's a really exciting thing. I think Betfair and Paddy Power are usually one of the best prices. Sky Bet good as well. 365 have wised up to it a bit, but Betfair pulled their card markets. I'm sure it's on the 75th minute, so you'll have to do it around 70 minutes. If the game stage suits. Other bets, I think a red card's a runner in this final. They have been 12 red cards in the 57 games I talked about earlier. Half of them have come in Championship games, so 6 red cards in the last 19 Championship playoff finals. And Chris Kavanagh, as you said, the referee, he's done 4 playoff Championship games, 3 semi-finals, 1 final. He gave a red card in his only final. Brentford, Swansea, I think. Jay Fulton got red carded, and he also sent someone off in one of the semi-finals, so it's a good ref. And I felt like I talk about it every time one of the top 4 in the Championship played each other. They had a terrific track record, those 4 teams, head-to-head wise, for cards in general. Red cards, they got a lot of red cards in those games as well, so it only seems right to do it one last time. So red cards 4 to 1 generally, so William Hill, Betfair, Paddy, Bet365, they've all got 4 to 1 red card in the game, and Betfair, Paddy Power got 6 to 1 red card each team. Good ref, good teams. And sticking along the cards, another player I really like for drawing him and getting him is Wilson Isidore. He's tireless, isn't he? He's just work rate is phenomenal, and he's a bit of a cannon. I think he's got 10 cards this season. He got 1 against Sheffield United, and he also got I don't know if he got Jack Robinson directly booked, but Jack Robinson was booked in both of those games. And at Bramall Lane, Harry Suter was sent off for 2 yellows. So between them, Sunderland's front line got 3 of the 4 centre backs booked when they played Sheffield United. So I think both of those players, Isidore is 3 to 1 Bet Victor, Jack Robinson same price Sky Bet, and the double is 15 to 1 Bet Victor. I'm covering all those. I've had myself a point on all 3 bets. Obviously the odds are massively different, but because I'm a fucking degenerate, I'm just thinking it's 3 points staked. If one of them does get carded, you're getting your money back and a point. And if you do manage to land them both, it's happy days. That's what I've done myself. So I'm doing, keep your eye out for player cards, player gold cards if the game state suits. Sidney Peck 1 and 2 goals. Red card each team. Jack Robinson, Isidore singles, and the double in the Championship.
So what I would say is, I think obviously we can't track it here because we don't know what the game state's going to be. But if it gets to 75th minute and it's 1-1, I'd recommend setting aside like 2 points or 1 point total and just picking 3 or 4 players that you think's going to score and take the top. Because I've had it a few times where just in a big game like this, a player that scores, because they don't take into consideration. It was like Vardy the other week. He didn't take his top off, but they didn't correlate the odds. Like I said, if you think a team's going to score, I'd think do half a point on 4 different Sheffield United players, and the same with Sunderland. And just if you think it's ready for it, just do it.
Yeah.
Because someone like Isidore will do it. Someone like in a game like that. So yeah, just set money aside and be ready for that in terms of game state.
Yeah, I literally recommended the same thing the other day. I said 3 players each team. I've just got the lineups, the predicted lineups here now. So Sidibeck, I think, is a runner. Robinson, probably Ben, Brereton, Diaz, Hamer.
I chose perfect for it.
Who?
I want him to start because I've got him fouls, but the odds are jot. Andre Brooks, because his record off the bench recently, he scored against Bristol City, didn't he? Did he score against Bristol City?
Yeah, he scored at the away leg against Bristol City.
Stoke away. If he scores the last minute winner, like his goal per 90 record is a joke. If he scores a late goal, his top is coming off, and he's going to be someone I can see being well in the hundreds for it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's going to be the prime candidate. If he's on the pitch and he scores a late goal, he's the one I'll be backing.
No, obviously, you can't do this, but there's only 20 outfield players. Institutions by this stage in the game, you know where you're at. It, like, for pounds and cents sake, even if you had a pound on everyone, the minimum odds, like knowing like the markets like we do, you're not going to get less, absolute like worst case scenario, you're not going to get less than 25 to 1. Yeah. Minimum odds is going to be 50 to 1. Yeah. Like, if you wanted to cover everyone, that's what I did in the World Cup final, France v Argentina. I just did as many players as I could because it's always suspended and that. But it's definitely worth doing. Yeah, so that's for the Championship. Into League One, you've got loads for this game.
Yeah, this game spoke to me. I had Stockport, I had a stinker. I had Stockport winning it and Charlton being in the final. I got Charlton in the final. Those 2 legs were probably the worst 2 games of football I've ever watched in my life. They were an eyesore. Orient Stockport the opposite, and I was really, really impressed with Orient. And before, you sort of got a spot on about you couldn't call Orient. You knew Charlton were going to beat Wycombe, we both did. You couldn't call Orient Stockport, which is why you went Charlton. And normally I'd say Charlton win it, but I think Orient do it. I think 1-1, Orient 2-1 after extra time or on penalties. But I really, really like that Orient side. A lot to like about them. And this game, I don't know why I've just gone heavy on tackles. So first bet is Jamie Donnelly, 3 tackles at 4s. And I've had half a point on 4 tackles at 8. He's hit 3+ tackles in his last 5, hit 4+ in 2 of his last 5. Like I said, I always say I hate head-to-head betting, but he hit 3 in his last meeting with Charlton and 4 in the meeting before with Super Sub. So he's just a player, he's on loan from Tottenham, he likes to put himself about, and I just think a game like this, I think it's going to be very cagey. But I know Charlton finished a bit above Orient, but they both ended the season very well. I don't think there's a lot to split the team, but I think it's going to be one of them really, really cagey games, which makes a good case for tackles. So yeah, Donnelly 3+ at 4s and Donnelly 4+ tackles at 8s. I've had half a unit on the 8. Also, his midfield partner probably on the day, or Donnelly probably play a bit forward. Jordan Brown's come back from injury recently. I say recently, he only missed a couple of games and then played against Stockport. I'm on him for 3 tackles at 3.75 for 1 point. Hit 3 tackles that's with Super Sub against Stockport. That's now 3 in a row. He's hit 3+ tackles, and like I said, I could see it being an intense midfield battle, hence the emphasis on tackles. Ethan Galbraith, he's probably, I think, top 5 players in League One. I think he's an unbelievable player. Orient right back. As I said, this is a long shot pod, but the 1 foul and 1 tackle bet at 1.8, 1.9 is probably my bet of the weekend. But obviously, for the sake of the pod, I've done 2 fouls and 3 tackles at 11 to 1, half a point. He's hit and miss for tackles, but he's 1.68 per 90, and he's averaging 1 foul per game. So, like I said, the foul and tackle bet is brilliant. When the sides met earlier in the season, Clare was a right back for Charlton, and he made 8 tackles and was booked for his first foul. And then you've got Campbell. I spoke about it last week. You've got Campbell and Edwards. This was when I was on Grimmer. Campbell and Edwards are the 2 most fouled and the 2 most dispossessed players for Charlton. If you watch Charlton, the right side of the pitch, Kane Ramsey small, get no action. It's all on Edwards and Campbell, and it's going to be the same. So it can be relentless down that side, so which is why I think Galbraith's going to be involved a lot. He's the right wing back for them. So yeah, just his stats are all right for it. If you look at stats in general, it's not a bet. With tackles and fouls, I like to play the opposition a lot, and yeah, the opposition is really good for it. And then I've gone, the final foul bet for this, I've gone Kelman for Leyton Orient and Sean Clare for Leyton Orient and Matty Godden for Charlton to make a foul each at 3.4. Just keep it simple. Godden's made a foul in 14 of his last 15. Clare has made 9 fouls over the last 3 and been booked in all 3. I go to quite a lot of Charlton games. I used to when international break, because one of my best mates from uni is a Charlton fan, so I go to Charlton home or away just when I could. Sean Clare was like, this is when Charlton were towards the bottom of League One. Sean Clare's a very popular player at Charlton. There's still a lot of narrative, and Clare, again, against his former side, he's been booked in his last 3, 9 over the last 3. Stupid not to have him in a bet. And then got Charlie Kelman, including super sub, 11 of his last 13 he's made a foul, so 3.4 for all of them to make a foul. And then finally, in terms of yellow cards, I was really astounded when I went on Oddschecker because when I first looked at the bets of this game, Paddy Power and Sky Bet were late to prize, so I was looking on the train up to London. Greg Doherty, 11-2 with Paddy Power. I just think it's a ridiculous bet. He was both games against Wickham. I looked into it, he's allowed to play the final, you don't get suspended for it. He's averaging 1.42 fouls per 90, and he's Scottish, he's a heart and sleeve sort of player, and I think this is one of the occasions he's going to be really, really up for. So 11-2 with Paddy, Betfair for him. And then I've also gone a double with Dan, I can't pronounce the surname, do you know how to, Dan Aggie, one of them.
Aggie boy.
Yeah, 60-1 for the double, I had half a point on that. He's a right mid. He's got quite good foul stats, to be fair. But the main reason is he'll be doubling up with Galbraith against Edwards and Campbell. Like I said, the 2 most foul players for Charlton. And I can't remember his exact odds. It's a bit higher than Doherty's, but the double 60-1, half a point on that, I just think it's far too big. And I just think it's going to be one of the game really niggly, loads of tackles, and so I've gone heavy on tackle and fouls.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, I'm just looking at the Doherty price. It's unbelievable. They're booked in both semis as well, so I'll be having a go on that. In fact, we'll double up the stakes on that because that's a massive price. And we just talked about it for ages then, but the only approach I've got to this game is gold cards. I think it'll be razor thin margins, and I think it's going to go potentially the distance. So I'll be looking goals and cards in play for this one. But obviously we ain't got the luxury to wait till the 75th minute and tell you about it on the podcast. So I've done 2 players, Matty Godden and Charlie Kelman. I think Kelman finished top goal scorer 23. I think Matty Godden got 19. So you're like joint third, was he? Yeah. 2 absolute bagsmen. Godden's 28 gold card combination, Bet365. Kelman's 19. Now 8 players have scored and then been booked for celebrating. The last 57, but when I was going through all the games, loads. I should have tallied them up, but I was just looking at gold card things, cards for celebrating after scoring. But loads and loads of players got booked and scored, and psychologically, I do think the pair go hand in hand because the emotions of scoring in a game like this. It's not surprising that you might like lash out to a tackle just after your adrenaline is absolutely pumping.
Both are very good for, like, obviously I've tipped both of them in a foul combination.
Yeah.
Both foul stats are really, really good, and the emotion is sort of can overawe a lot of people. So yeah, Gordon Kelman in general is really good for fouls.
Well,
regardless of the top off.
It's funny you should say, because I think Kelman's got 4 cards and he's got a goal and a card in 23 games. I know Matty Godden, he scored the winner against Wickham and he was booked after, but not for a celebration. I don't know what that card was for. I should have probably checked, but it just shows the point, like, the emotions, it gets the better of you. So those have been my 2 players, and at the prices, I have obviously backed these. I've had half a point on each anti-post before the game, even though it's not the approach I'm going. Like, ideally you'd wait for the game to kick off, but based on the foul records that Matthews alluded to and their records recently, I think it's probably worth taking these 2 strikers before the game kicks off as well. So that's my approach for this one. More gold cards. They're both great track records. And the only final thing to say on Kelman, maybe Matty Godden as well actually, but Kelman's definitely not playing for Leyton Orient next season. This is his last game, and he'll be dreaming of going out with a bang. So I could definitely see the emotions getting the better of him if he scores, because he'll be going back to QPR next season. And Matty Godden, if Charlton go up, I won't be surprised if someone takes a punt on him, maybe. I know he went back to Charlton, dropped back down to League One.
He'll drop back down, I reckon.
He'll drop down again?
Yeah. Well, did you think Premier League punt or?
No, I thought Championship if Charlton don't go up.
Yeah, Goddard's one of them players, like, he's too good for League One, but I don't think he can hack it in Champs. I can see, or Birmingham, someone like Birmingham.
Yeah, I could see Birmingham.
I'm trying to think, there's not many League One.
Would Wrexham? It's not really Wrexham's style, is it?
No,
League below.
I don't think there's many teams in League One that can really afford. Yeah, to be fair, no, I think Godden will stay. I don't think Wrexham or Birmingham go in for him.
No,
but it strikes as like a Norwich sort of player. Or
yeah, I could see him at Norwich because I think Sargent's going back to MLS this summer. Yeah. Get ready for the World Cup. But yeah, 2-player gold card combinations. Kelman, my absolute favourite, 19-1 Sky Bet. Prices are pretty consistent. And then Matty Godden best price 28 to 1 bet 365. League 2.
You want to do score prediction?
Oh shit! Score prediction. 1-0 Charlton. Terrible game. I don't know when Matty Godden scores it. Either really early or really late. But I just think Nathan Jones absolutely kills this game. Yeah. What were your score predictions?
Yeah, I said 1-1 full time. Orient 2-1 after extra time. Late or penalties. I can't decide it. But it's going to be. I think just. Coming into players, I thought Charlton were much better side, but watching the player, it's probably Wickham under Dodds. Obviously, I've got a Dodds agenda, but watching Charlton against Dodds, the games were awful. I just didn't rate Charlton. They had nothing going for them. They were really there was not at the 180 minutes. There was not a single minute I thought Charlton would concede. They were really good defensively, but they had nothing going forward other than Campbell. Whereas Orient, I was really, really impressed with Orient both legs. So that sort of probably recency bias has swayed it. I think Orient edged it, but couldn't call it.
Yeah, it is a horrible one to call. Best thing that could possibly happen is an early Leyton Orient goal for this game. I hope Leyton Orient do it, even though I'm on Charlton.
Oh, well, early Orient goal because tackles and fouls and everything were flying for Orient, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Boy. Right, League 2. What have you got for this one?
This is gonna. So I think we both got this League 2 massively wrong. We were heavy on Chesterfield, and we thought County's individual quality would edge it against. To be fair, County and Wimbledon were both we can't call Wimbledon very low margin side as shown by they won 1-0 both. County didn't have the individual quality second leg, they didn't have Jacko and McGoldrick, so we can be forgiven on that, but we got it massively wrong with Chesterfield.
To be fair though,
I didn't watch the second leg, but apparently I watched the first half of the County Wimbledon. They were just passing it round the back. You're a League 2 team, you're chasing the game, you're 2-0. Chesterfield, I think McFadden ended up with 125 passes.
It's fucking so annoying.
I don't know, I just think you got a player like Dobra there, just utilise your attacking talent rather than just passing it around the back. So yeah, I just think we both got League 2 massively wrong, and I just think both these sides are very negative, don't play the best style of football, and I just think this is going to be a brutal game, so I've tried to avoid as much as I can. But I've got a couple bets. First one is I can't pronounce his name, Okagube and Lewis, 2 tackles each at 6.5. I'm having a point on that. Lewis is only averaging 1.38 per game. But watching the Wimbledon County, obviously we don't get the luxury of watching much League 2 football, we just go off stats and highlights. I managed to catch the first hour probably of the second leg. Wimbledon played back three. Lewis was the centre one. He was the one going. Jackson, obviously, I don't know if we go the same system, but Lewis was just going out, man marking, and he was so aggressive. I thought he must have been on about 7 tackles by the hour mark. He must have not got one in the last half hour, because the way I was watching it, every ball that came into the Notts County front line, Lewis was there and would go through someone. I think the way Jackson's playing in the playoffs is aggression from the back, and I think Lewis should see an upturn in tackles because of that. Like I said, 1.38 per game, but nothing special, but that 7 really stood out. He's against Jamil Matt. Wolves would like to play it against Matt. Matt holds it up, sort of waits for others, and a tackle's easy to get. All you've got to do is Lewis got to poke his leg in and just make a little tackle like that, and I think it'll be Lewis versus Matt, and I think I can see him getting a couple stat pad tackles. And then Okagube, he's made 2+ in his last 6. Wolves have sort of recently shifted to a back 3, and he's gone to the right of the back 3. And since then, you play more like a right back in a back 3 like that. So he's made 2+ there. Like I said, he's the right side of that, and Wimbledon on that side have got Tilly, I think, and they're very, very attacking on that side. So yeah, 2 tackles each, 6.5, a point on that. And then I've had George Hall, 2 fouls at 3.75, a point on that. Not much you can really say about this. He's hit this in his last 3. He's only made 7 starts for Wimbledon, but he's averaging just shy of 2 a game. Yeah, he's just very, very good for fouls. You've got the luxury of super sub, and someone like him, I just think with his record, 3.75 is a stupid price.
Big goal. I did a look at all the playoff games, those 57 games I keep talking about, and for red cards, players taking getting booked after they score, and red cards, League 2 was the best. So if you're looking for daft long shot punts, League 2 is definitely the best hunting ground out of the 3 divisions. League 1, the worst for context. Championship, middle of the road, and it's been fluctuating. The thing we haven't mentioned is there's VAR in all 3 of these games, isn't there?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there must be. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another fact to consider. But League 2 ranked first for goal card celebrations, second for red cards. I think off the top of my head there's been 4 in the last 19 League 2 playoff finals, and it ranked first for keeper card win combinations. I think, off the top of my head, 5. I think it was a 5 on the tally chart. So yeah, it's definitely the one you want to watch for these punts. And again, I'm leaving the red card. Will Finney's the ref. I think he's given 4 red cards in his last 3.
Blimey.
1, 2, 1. I think. I didn't write it down, but I checked him earlier. He has been given red cards, so red cards might be worth considering, especially with VAR. But this was the one I had my eye on for keeper card result combinations. I think, gun to my head, it finishes 0-0. Prices are obviously.
I was going to take 0-0, but the odds were shocked.
It's too short.
It's either 1-0 Wimbledon or 0-0. I think it's the most stinking game for weather.
But price wise, Walsall look too big for me as well. They do, and they're drifting as well because. And I know they fucked a 12-point lead at the top of League 2. 12 points clear going into 2025. And they fucked it. But they've been good in this playoff campaign. And the thing that shocked me about the second leg against Wimbledon, against Chesterfield, I watched that because I was on Simkin Card. And the atmosphere around the ground, even before they scored, was just like, it wasn't tense, it wasn't relaxed, it was like encouraging, and it just feels like they might have just got back in track on the perfect time. Let's not forget they did win on final day, and up until like the last second when Sarkovic scored,
Bradford,
they were going up automatically. They limped over the line and they'd collapsed before the line because of what Bradford did, but they have won all of their last 3 games, haven't they? They beat Chesterfield in the first leg as well.
Yeah, both comfortably as well. Like Chesterfield hardly had a glove on them.
Yeah, so I think Walsall might be back on track, and at the prices available, my favourite bet from this game is Simkin Card Walsall to win. The best price was 17-1 Sky Bet, but it's gone out to 18-1 on Bet365, so definitely have it with them. I've had a point on that, and I've also had a point on the polar opposite, Wimbledon to win and Owen Goodman to be carded, both keepers. That's 16-1 Bet365 last time I checked. Both keepers have got 3 cards, but anybody who follows League 2 will know Simkin is the absolute worst.
Bellend.
He is a massive bellend and I love him.
Yeah.
I don't know how he didn't get booked in the second leg. So if either team goes ahead, I've got full faith in either keepers to be doing all they can to get booked. And as I say, League 2 an absolute dream for silly long shot punts. If the game state suits, which I'm pretty confident it will. I really can't.
I can't see it like it's going to be such a shit low margin. Yeah. Like 0-0, 1-0 either way.
Nobody wants to be the hero in these games, do they?
Nah, League 2, we've said it all season, League 2's been the worst league in terms of betting, everything, it's such a god-awful league, and Bradford fans will tell you that they're finally out now. It's the worst league to watch in your life, and I think the final's going to go the same way. It's going to be 0-0, 1-0 either way. So, yeah, very sensible way in, I think, keeper cards and a 1-0 win. Or not even a 1-0 win, just a win and keeper card.
It has to be 1-0.
Yeah.
But it probably will be. I just wanted to double check the 0-0 no goal scorer price.
I did it for my Paddy column.
6-1.
Yeah.
It's just too short.
Yeah.
It is just too short.
All it takes is like the amount of won the goals you see at Wembley, someone wanting to be a hero. It's too low to consider. Comes to my head, I think 0-0.
I think 0-0 for this one. Yeah, I think it goes all the way to pens. But to completely contradict myself, I'm doing keeper card result combinations, both ones, covering them both because they're both 16-1. So point on each of them just in case. And again, I don't know. I should have checked. I'm just going to quickly check. But I think goal and cards in play are worth doing. If you look at it, don't look at it game by game. Just look at it as the playoff campaign as a whole. Like maximum, like even if you're laying out 6 points, 2 points each game.
Matty Stevens, my hero.
Matty Stevens,
I love that player. He's a bunch of punts hero. He's my from that 500 to 1 years ago. So I think Matty Stevens is about 10-1 to be burnt. So in play, Matty Stevens goal card could be one.
Right, so I'm just looking red card in game. It's 9-2 with Bet365. I might put that up. Yeah, fuck it. 9-2 red card in the game. I'm putting that up. I just think League 2 is going to be the best for these long shot bets, and then keep your eye out. Game state, obviously. Player goal cards, obviously not tracking it. To keep cards, my only play for this one. We both think it's going to be 0-0. That's it for the playoffs. Have you got any cross game multis?
No, I haven't managed to get any together.
Did you say last season 2 of the 3 winning keepers got booked?
I don't even know if it was winning goalies, but 2 of the 3, 2 goalies got booked in total in the last year's playoff final. I think One of them was Baxter for Bolton, who lost.
Two
goalies.
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
2 goalies got booked. I can't remember. I think it was the League Two winners. No, yeah, it was Crawley won and a die.
A die, yeah, that was it. And Bolton's keeper did get booked,
Yeah,
but
so
they didn't win.
So I don't know why he got booked, but obviously, like, there's a lot on the line, so a lot of goalies. You could. No, not theoretically. The Wimbledon game's not going to end 3-2, but I was like, you could theoretically get both come up with the early payout. No, but I just think, yeah, there's a lot on the line. It doesn't. It sounds stupid, but just a lot of people can be booked regardless of the stats. You just have a player that's a lot on the line promotion. It could be good for some long shot cards in terms of players swearing at the ref and just stuff like that. I don't know. I didn't include it, I had it in my notes, but took it out. But it's players like the Charlton game has so many good yellow cards. Tyrese Campbell was 11-1. I'm not going to put it forward, but it's going to happen now. But you just take the biggest odds you can, because all it takes is like a passionate player, a key player, to sort of just swear at a ref and you're in there.
Yeah, and you'll know pretty soon if the ref's in the mood to give loads of cards. I know there's only been 7 keeper winning team card combinations of the last 57, but I have done a 3-game multi just in case. Michael Cooper, Sheffield United, Will Mannion, Charlton, that's 35-1. Wallop. And then of course Tommy Simpkin and Walsall. Simpkins 18-1, Mannion's 35s, Cooper's 12, so I think it was just under 9,000-1 on the treble. As a Trixie, I've had 0.2 a point on that just in case. It was a free bet, so yeah, that's the EFL playoffs. We've got to talk about at least one game in the Prem. Forest play Chelsea, and it's probably the biggest game of final day, because those two are directly gunning against each other for a spot in the Champions League. Forest have already confirmed a spot in Europe, so essentially it's a free hit. But if either team wants to confirm relegation, confirm Champions League football, realistically they need to win. If not, they're relying on results elsewhere. So I think that it's a bit of a punt in paradise. It's not Chris Kavanagh, Anthony Taylor. Yeah, he's the ref. He was a really popular ref because he just stopped giving any cards in games, but he can turn it on as well. But I think we're both on similar lines for this one, so do you want to take it away?
A lot of mine is wishful thinking, because Brighton to hit Europe, we need a point, we need Villa to get a point, and then Forest to beat Chelsea, obviously Chelsea to win Europa Conference League. A lot of it is wishful thinking, but Forest, I think it's Forest winning Sel's card is 18th, and if Forest are leading late on, let me check. If Forest are leading late on, Sel's is getting booked. So gun to my head, I think it's a draw, but 18-1 about, I think it is Sel's card, Forest win. I think is Jimmy's getting his William Hill steps out as we speak. He's gone to the bookies just before we recorded, but yeah, it must be William Hill. I think that's got to be the best price.
16 winning Sells and 17-2 double chance and Sells.
Yeah, so I reckon, yeah, there's not much point unless he gets booked early and Chelsea score late.
Yeah,
because a point does nothing for Forest really. No. So yeah, I'm not going to bother with the double chance and thingy, because like, basically, it's going to get booked. If Forest are winning 80th minute, you're banking on Chelsea scoring the last 10. So I'm just going pure point, Sells card and Forest win.
Let me tell you why it's genius, right? Because Forest are winning, Sells gets booked, and if they end up winning anyway, both bets win. But if Chelsea do manage to get an equaliser, you've at least got that to fall back on. And I back keeper card combinations all the time. Sometimes you get, I don't know if I have actually got stung, but sometimes you get fucking stung. So I'm doing both of those, point on each. Sells is brilliant for cards as well. I do think Forest win this game. 3.3 I think they are. So I'll probably chuck a point on them to win as well. I just think the teams tactically, it suits Forest so well. Chelsea have been honking on the road for a long time. They've only won one of the last 10. I think they lost 6 of those games in the Premier League away from home.
They're excited now.
They are bad. They are bad. And they don't score many goals anymore. And Nicholas Jackson is injured. And he's probably the best.
Yeah,
suspended. Probably one of the best defensive forwards in the league in terms of running the channels, linking up play. He doesn't score, but Chelsea are a lot better team with him in. So that's a fucking killer. So I'm having Forest win as a single. I'm going to have a point on all three. So Forest win, single, 3.3, Betfair exchange, and then a point on the double chance and a point on Forest win alongside Sells card. William Hill best price. Worth taking with them if you can. If you can't get on online, go to a shop because it's the same prices. I love doing it. And then the only other game I want to talk about, Wolves-Brentford. Brentford, right, if they want to get Europe, they have to better your result, don't they? At Brighton, that is.
No, not even better ours, because if we draw, like we've got to lose to Spurs and they've got to beat Brentford. Because if we draw, Brentford can't catch us.
Yeah, that Brentford have got to win and hope that you lose. Then, yeah.
So it's a big long shot, but they'll go for it from minute one.
In my head, this game with Wolves just stinks of goals. Was lost 4-2 against Palace, and they also beat Tottenham 4-2 not long ago. So I was just thinking goals for this game, because even if you're winning by a couple of goals against Spurs and it's out of their hands, then it's just going to go a bit crazy. It's short goals,
but also someone sent a stat in the group chat I'm in. So over the last 10 final game weeks, at least one team has scored 5+ goals in every single game. So there's scope for it. But we were at the pub earlier looking. We couldn't find one that we want to back that, if you know what I mean. A team scored 5 or more. I said potentially us, but I don't trust us. Brentford maybe. My best bet would be Arsenal, but it doesn't surprise me if they go 2-0 up and they want the Golden Glove. So there will be, based on statistics over the last 10 years, there will be a team that scores 5 or more goals, but I couldn't tell you who it is.
No, I think though this game, given how unlikely it is for Brentford and Wolves' recent form, I think this is the most likely for goals. So I'm going to do over 5.5 in this one. Best price 7-1. Bet Victor. All prices are terrible in final day in the Premier League, but it's because the stats back it up. Usually it goes a bit crazy. So of the games, I think Wolves-Brentford's my favourite for goals. So fuck it. Over 5.5. Right, is that everything?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Can you recap your bets, please, boy?
Yeah, so Sheffield United, Sunderland, I've gone Dan Neil, 2,000, Peck, 2 shots, 6.5 point on that. Orient Charlton, I've gone a bit heavy on this. I've gone Donnelly 3 tackles at 4s, 1 unit. Donnelly 4 tackles at 8s, half. Then I've gone Brown 3 tackles, 3.75. Galbraith 2 fouls, 3 tackles, 11-1, half a point on that. Kelman, Godden, Clare, foul each at 3.4. Doherty to be booked 11-2. That's with Paddy / Betfair. Then I've done half a point on the double 60-1 with a guy on Paddy. Then Okagube and Lewis 2 tackles at 6.5, a point on that, Wimbledon Walsall, and a point on George Hall, 2 fouls at 3.75. And I've also had a point on Forest win and Sells card with Bet365.
Well, right, playoffs, championship. I've gone red card in the match 4-1 general, red card each team 66-1, Betfair, Paddy Power. Point on the red card, quarter of a point on the red card each team. Then I'm doing Isidore to be carded, Jack Robinson to be carded, the double. The double's 15-1 now, Bet Victor. I've had a point on that. Robinson cards 3-1 Sky Bet, point on that. Isidore, Bet Victor, same price, point on that. I've also done Tom Condo's bets, City Peck 11-1 to score any time Sky Bet, half a point on that. And I've done like £5 to 0.1 of a point on him to score a brace at 225-1. Same for League One, Matty Godden and Charlie Kelman both to score and be carded. Godden is 28-1 Bet365, Kelman's 19-1 Sky Bet, half a point on each of those. And then League 2 I'm doing Walsall to win alongside their keeper Thomas Kim to be carded, 18-1 Bet365, point on Wimbledon to win, Owen Goodman to be carded, 16-1 Bet365. And then I'm doing a red card in that game as well, 9-2 Bet365, point on that. And then I'm doing a cross game keeper card result multi, 0.2 of a point on Sheffield United and Cooper, Charlton and Will Mannion, and Walsall and Simkin. I think it's just under 9,000-1. Bet365. And then in the Prem, I'm doubling down. Oh, I also had a point on your Doherty shout. Yeah, Doherty 11-2. And then we've both got a point on Sells. Was it 16-1?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I'm also doing a point on him. And Forest double chance 17-2 William Hill. I'm also having a point on Forest to win at 3.3. And then oh shit, what did I say? Wolves
over 5.5.
Over 5.5, 7-1. Yeah. Only half a point on that, but I just think it's the most likely for goals. I think that's us for the season, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll probably have content coming out over the summer, hopefully.
Yes.
Depending on how busy we are. But yeah, we'll have content in the summer and then we'll be back as usual and probably better in the next season.
Yes. And right, that's it.
Yeah,
Sweet,
that's
isn't it?
it.
Right, we'll probably see you next season then. Catch you on the Flippity Flip.